Put on the. Oh,
Nope, I can't. Hello, everyone. Welcome to MoveTV. We are doing a lead gen series. And so we're going to be talking about different industries and how to create that lead gen flow that you really need and make sure that it's the right people, the ones that are willing to buy and happy to pay. So my
yes.
name is Tessa. I'm a marketing strategist, and this is Kai All Day, who's a business coach. And that's what we did. We just actually finished a really big event that we did all around lead gen and funnels and how to really optimize that flow. So we're talking today about faith-driven or faith-based coaches because we actually have a few we work with. So this is a good example where we can actually share the lead gen strategies with them. You might be in a different industry, and that's awesome. It doesn't matter what industry, you're probably going to take away at least, one or two good nuggets from this. But we wanted to specifically hone in on faith-based coaches. So Kai, do you want to take it away from here?
Yes. So, lead gen, when you talk about a funnel, we've been talking about funnels this whole time. And I think people get confused because they think of funnels as, either that little picture funnel that everybody draws, the actual one you put in the jar and you pour the stuff in, right? But the reality is that the funnel is a customer journey. So if you watched last week, you can go and check that one out, and it'll show you exactly what a funnel looks like. But at the very beginning of the funnel, that is where lead gen happens. Now, how effective your funnel is, right? Whether it's manual, meaning, hey, DM me, and then I go and I take a PDF and I put it into their DM. There's that manual funnel, right? Or if it's automated, either way, how effective that funnel is based off of what you're doing in the very beginning, because that's bringing in the people, getting in front of the right people, but also what is the messaging that happens all along the way. And here is what I would say is a lot of people focus on audience growth, right? I need more followers. And you've heard us say it before, so I'm not going to say it again. Maybe I will, but it doesn't matter how many people you have. It's how many of the right people do you have? And when we all start building our business, a lot of us think, okay, I just need to get more people. And what happens, and I know that the word niching is almost a cuss word to some people, but because they don't like it, but it's because we don't understand what niching actually does. It's been watered down by everyone who talks about it. So really understand that niching matters, especially in the beginning, because what happens if you're only focused on growing your audience? So I just want to get 100,000 followers. Awesome. And so I'm going to do whatever is popular. I'm going to get tired trying to kill myself, making reels, trying to stay on trend, trying to do all of the things, right? You're doing it, and you may be even growing your account. You have seen these accounts where they've got thousands and thousands of followers, and we can tell you for a fact that we know some of them, and they don't make any money. They are struggling to make money. Why? Because they didn't want to niche their messaging. And that's really where I think niching really comes down to. It's not like, hey, the person who is this age, who has this job. Yes, those are important when you start doing marketing ads and you need that type of information. But in the beginning, it comes down to your messaging. Okay. So what that
100%.
messaging looks like is it needs to repel. And that's why we say niching, right? Because if I say, hey, I'm a business coach, so that's what I'm selling. So I want to get a lot of people who need business coaches. Number one, I'm not qualifying. Like, who do I coach? Like, I coach everyone in the world? No, I wouldn't know how to coach certain people. Like, that's just the reality. If you're a farmer, I can help you with some strategy, some marketing stuff. But in
A
terms of
farm coach.
build that farm, how you're gonna, I have no idea. Your farm would probably die if I gave you advice on how to make a farm. Right? So, so you have to really be very clear about who it is you're speaking to and specifically create messaging that repels. And I know that that's hard for a lot of us. But the reality is that means that the more conversations you have, they're going to be quality conversations. They're probably going to lead to more sales, right? So your conversion rate gets higher. So if I have 10 people in the audience and before maybe I sold to like one person every 3 to 4 months, now I have 10 people in the audience and I'm selling to 7 people every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
It changes the conversation of what that looks like and how effective it is. So with that being said, I just wanted to highlight that because I think it's so important as we go into the types of strategies and tactics you can use. Remember that that is so important to get that right before you go and do all the things we're about
Yeah,
to.
but think about how much wasted time there is. If you have a bunch of people who aren't your audience, you're expending all this energy, you're putting out content, and all you see is empty, views. If you're not speaking directly to them, and that auditorium trying to yell to everyone is not going to be as effective as, saying, "Hey, you with the red pants." Now the red pants person is like, "Oh, that's me." That's really, and I mention this because I love Kai's analogy on this, because it is such a good way to think about what you're doing and not feel bad because you're saying that. You're just speaking directly to the person who is going to benefit the most from your product, service, app, whatever it might be. So we're going to talk through some strategies specifically for faith-based coaches, but remember, you can do it from your whatever industry specific. We're going to cover these pretty quick, I know.
But here's one thing to remember too, the red pants analogy, right? Which we talk about a lot is, when you're clear and you repel, a lot of people think you're being mean, but the reality is you're actually not. You're being kind, because what you're doing is you are allowing people to understand whether or not you're for them, right? So you're not wasting people's time who you can't help. You're not wasting people's time who you prefer to not help, right? Because there might be some industries that you don't want to work in. There might be some industries where you're like, I have all this knowledge in this. This is my, right? But when you are like, man, I just need everyone. What happens is you bring in people into your circle, and then it affects your algorithm as well, because you're just bringing in the wrong people. And then Instagram, Facebook's like, oh, this is the person they want. Let me bring more of these people.
More of what you don't want. You might be experiencing that too right now. You might say, why am I just getting more of what I don't want?
Yeah.
So with that said, we have other tactics to improve the funnel so that you can kind of pre-qualify throughout a funnel process, but we're just talking about lead gen. So Kai, do you want to dive into the first tip? Obviously, first tip is niche. Second tip.
And when you niche, that's going to help you with all this stuff, because here's what we say. There's two things to your marketing at the very beginning. You have outbound marketing, you have inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is really, I have a store, somebody is walking along the road, they happen to see my store and come in. I have a post, somebody happens to see my post, they check out my feed. I have a website, they Google something, it happens to show up, they go to it. That's really inbound marketing. So yes, that's important, but the outbound marketing is what can help you to exponentially grow your business, which is why Tessa developed people's websites for like 2 years with no website of her own through outbound marketing. So it had nothing to do with, I made this beautiful website and people came. It was through the outbound marketing. So that's really where we're going to focus a lot of our tips today, because it's so important. And here's what I would tell you is, don't do what most of us do, which is start the outbound strategy and then it works. You have clients, you're working, and then you stop. It should always be a part of your process, whether maybe it's not like every single day, but maybe it's at least once a week, so that you can continue to build the flow of people coming in. You don't want to stop, then it stops, and then you're like, oh crap, I need to make a sale. Now let me go do it, because you're going to have to start the engine again.
Yeah, right? Exactly. It's like you've made it and then you're back down because you have things. Now you have to get back up that hill and start the momentum again. So definitely keep doing it always.
Yes. So some outbound tactics for those of you who are faith-based coaches is, number one, being in the right audience, right? So are you going to, is there a local event at your church for business groups? can you create one in your area? And it can be free. It could be meeting at a coffee shop. It could just be for the networking. But understanding who your audience is going to make a difference in whether or not you're getting the right people for your coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Understanding them and knowing where they are and hanging out with them.
Yes, building relationship, because even if this person, so for example, we serve women, we also serve men, but in our group coaching that we have, it is all women. But we tend to get a lot of men because where we hang out happens to just be that Tessa lives in the tech world. We're on LinkedIn. A lot of the engagement come from men, which is great because they do a lot of our done for you services. But it also means that we have to be intentional about getting in front of more women that we serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to think about that as well when we do our outbound strategies. So for you all, if it's, I'm a faith-based coach, like where do your people hang out? Is there something that you can create, a networking event, even if it's a virtual one online, but something where you can start to connect with people? Because even if that person's not your person, they may be connected to your people. So that brings us to the next one, which,
just want to say real quick,
go for it.
faithdrivenentrepreneur.org is one that we've actually participated in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to start one locally for us. I mean, there's a web Zoom version, or you can do it locally. So that is a really good resource for those coaches where it is a curriculum, but you get to meet some awesome people. We met a variety of people in ours, all different businesses. So that's just a really quick, personal opportunity.
Which brings us to the PB&J industry. So I think this is something that Tessa does so well and talks about. And actually through that faith-driven entrepreneur group, we were able to have somebody on the show. Tessa was able to be on her show. So if you wouldn't mind kind of diving into the PB&J.
Yeah, so I think PB&J just think of it as like they go together perfectly, right? They're not in competition with each other. They both serve the same audience in different ways. So somebody would work with, me for a different reason than they would work with Kai for business coaching, a marketing strategist doing the marketing, Kai for strategy. Like we're a PB&J perfect little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you're looking for someone who could be that for you. With Geeta, who we had on our show, she's an author, and we work very well with authors. But she also is a show and influencer, right? So she has her own TV show, and we were able to help each other out and reach each other's audiences. And that was one of the first tactics that I gave to her when I met her. I was like, definitely find people that you can share that the lead gen burden with, because you both go at it together. It's going to do like Marie Forleo, Tony Robbins, like all those people are doing this PB&J. Let's help each other get your programs out.
And for those of you who are faith-based coaches, really lean into your messaging in terms of what that looks like. So, when we first started our business, we didn't talk too much about God, even though we were both Christians. And then we got to the point where like that really fuels us. And, we have so many hopes and dreams of like being able to tithe into the mission field and into churches and things like that. So it only made sense for us to put that at the forefront of our messaging. And me as a coach, when I'm coaching somebody, it's hard for me to not talk about my faith. And not that I'm like, hey, witnessing to you, but in the sense of like, I believe that you have a purpose and a plan for your life. I believe, and so it's hard to leave those core beliefs behind. Mm-hmm. So if that's a part of your faith-based coaching, which I would assume it is,
right.
just based on the title, then that needs to be at the forefront of your business versus kind of like you're just getting all these people in. Because what happens is you might get great people, but they may suck your soul, and not on purpose, but it's because you're having to hold back. So that energy you use holding back, it really does a number on you. And I've experienced this even recently. And so, and they're great people, like absolutely nothing wrong. But the fact that I have to like actually focus on what I'm saying as to not offend, right? Where to me, it's not offensive. It takes a lot more brain energy, which then I cannot invest into the business of theirs, right? And so really understand where's your focus. And then as you're getting out there, I think always outbound is always about whose audience can you get in front of. Now, if you're like, okay, you've heard this and you're like, okay, so I know this Christian author. She's got like 1 million people in her audience. And if I could just connect with her, that's awesome. Create a hot list. But please don't discount the people who have 500 people in their audience, who have 1,000. Like get the people who are in different stages, because here's the thing is, even if I have 1 million people, I may not have 1 million engaged people. Right? Or I might be so busy that I don't see what you have as value at the moment, or something that I need in my business. So don't only focus there. Build the relationship. Definitely the PB&J relationships are important, but don't forget the smaller people, because they are typically more willing to collaborate, more willing to help you promote, right, with their audience, whatever that looks like. And so think of that too. You could host an event with these people, and you could be showcasing them. Like you could be doing the interviews, it could be on YouTube, it could be a podcast thing, but you're doing the work, and therefore they're like, oh man, yeah, it's an opportunity to grow my business. They're more likely to say yes, so long as it's aligned with what you're teaching, right? What you're going to be presenting.
I love that. That's perfect. Good. Do you have more? And I
mean, we always have more.
I know we always have more. We have about 4 minutes.
Time today. So
yeah, we have 4 minutes because it was tech challenge from today. I think those are excellent. Guys, we'll recap all of these for you as well. We go live at 10 a.m. on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications, or hit subscribe to our channels. And then just show us some love. If you're catching this later and you found some nuggets, let us know in the chat. And if that's you and you need more help with your lead gen or your sales funnel, we just finished an awesome event. And Kaya, maybe you could just recap what we did in our most recent.
A free event as well. So it was a free event. It was 2 days. So you did have to be in attendance for those 2 days, but we really dove into designing your funnel. That includes the inbound, outbound, and all of the pieces, what that actually looks like in real life. And then the second day was committed to the inbound and outbound marketing, really figuring out how you're going to get in front of people, how you're going to fill your bucket. So today was just a little taste of that. We had 3 hours to go through it, whereas right now it's like 10 minutes, right? So you're not going to get a ton of it. But if you want to come, we have one coming in October. Just comment below and we will send you the link. But what I would say is just
comment lab. It's a Power Funnel Lab, and just comment lab, and we'll get you all the information about the next one that we're doing. And again, it's free. We're going through this with you. This is something that, our clients pay $10K plus for the high end for us to do this strategy with them. And you're actually brainstorming with us in person. It's, so that you can really get the most from this event, and you're brainstorming with other entrepreneurs and meeting great people. I think that was one of the coolest parts about what people said about the event. It's like, I met some really awesome people that I want to
connect with. That was awesome. Like, I always think like people love what we do, but I think when you're in a room with other entrepreneurs, it really just gets you motivated again. And I'm not for motivation, but sometimes you need it to get the wheels spinning. It gets you excited about your business and dreaming again. And so I would encourage you, no matter where you are, if you can come to our event or to an event with other people like-minded like you, and specifically if there are people who are in your niche that you are serving, that would be awesome.
So helpful to actually be able to ask questions and see their opinion. That's awesome. Well, guys, we thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you all next week. Have a blessed week. Bye.